Welcome to another ASA ABLOY Academy webinar. Today's webinar is an in-depth look at Luxer One's contactless delivery and pickup solutions. This session will last about 45 minutes. During this session, your lines will be muted. However, you can pose questions using the question and answer icon at the bottom of your screen, and we will save time at the end for your questions. This session is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours for review at the ASA ABLOY Academy website. Also, within 24 hours, you will receive an email from ASA ABLOY Academy as your proof of attending this webinar that can be submitted to your employer or one of the industry association partners such as DHI or ALOA. And keep in mind, ASA ABLOY Academy has over 50 classes online that are all available at no cost. To simply get started, join the Academy and start learning at your own pace. And now we're going to turn it over to Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Russell, for the intro. Welcome, everybody. We're here to talk a little bit about Luxer One today. Luxer One is a smart package locker system that we serve very many different verticals across different industries. Today, we're going to dive into a little bit on the software experience. We're going to talk a little bit about the hardware experience as well, and the specifications of what we actually fabricate. And I'll dive in a little bit onto a couple use cases within different verticals as well. So brief background on mine with some contact information if anyone would like to get in touch with me. I'm the head of sales and marketing for Luxer One. I've been with the company now a total of 6 years. Formerly was the CEO of the first company that started Laundry Locker, which was building a contactless pickup and delivery experience specifically for the dry cleaning and laundry industry. And now Luxer One does the same, but focuses a lot on packages and other assets that would move between two people. So without further ado, kind of dive in here. Brief background on where we came from, just to catch up those that aren't aware. So the company was established in 2005 with Laundry Locker, and those lockers were specifically dedicated to managing the dry cleaning and laundry space. As kind of e-commerce grew and a lot of shipping, like Amazon Prime, of course, started to change the way we buy and receive goods, we started to notice a lot of packages coming through our dry cleaning lockers back in 2012. So we were expanded to 16 countries through kind of a SaaS model in which we powered other dry cleaning and laundry companies to do exactly what we had perfected in San Francisco all over the globe. And it was quickly then where we realized that we needed a different type of locker and a better solution to manage those packages. So that's when Luxer One was launched in 2013. And we launched specifically to solve the multifamily industry's package problem. In the previous webinar that's available on the Academy from a couple of days ago, we dive in a little bit more specifically around the multifamily solution. So if you'd like to catch up on that, feel free to download that video. And this one's going to be focused a little bit on what happened after package management for multifamily. So in 2016, we launched our first kind of buy online and pick up in store experience. And this was a really successful pilot rolled out throughout the country with a major retailer, in which guests and users can load things into their cart and check out online and pick up their merchandise directly from a locker, all without any contact with the store associate. And in 2018, excuse me, we joined the ASA ABLOY family. So a little brief background on where we've been, and now let's talk about where we're headed. So again, kind of our key verticals, multifamily is definitely the breadwinner, if you will. It's been the one that's been established for the longest amount of time. And again, if you want to learn more about that, head on over to that other webinar. Today, we're going to talk about solutions that we have for universities, corporate offices, and retail. So first, let's start with what is the physical product. This is a pretty standard installation. We refer to this as a main unit, which includes kind of the one with the door open, and that's what hosts all the hardware to control the rest of the locks, as well as the iPad that runs the system. in addition to batteries and other controllers and all the other kind of pieces that go into it. And then you can see there's 3 different towers with the same configurations. They're all based upon data that we've used from some of the major carriers throughout the country and throughout the world, frankly, to estimate the size of packages that are being delivered to different buildings. And next you'll see we have a lot of different configurations, but this is a pretty standard one that includes a nice mix of different sizes of packages. And on the far right, you'll see a large single door, which we call our oversized locker. This is something that's unique to our offering, in which the oversized locker serves as both oversized package space, but also can serve for an overflow in which multiple people's packages can be delivered there in times of extreme package volume, which is what we're experiencing right now with everybody working from home. So kind of a deeper dive on those add-ons. So we have about, I think we have a total of 25 different products that we sell, plus or minus, and these are kind of the core ones. So again, that main unit, these are each about 500 pounds, 12 gauge steel. We manufacture in the US and they're designed here. And we are constantly tweaking these products to, for retail fit or for office fit, for example. You can see all the way on the far right, the 24-door add-on was something that a client brought to us, where we saw the need for, just had a lot of small packages coming through their office or through their multifamily development. And then you can see the 44-door add-on is another example in which we are, in some cases, being able to put these in place of USPS mailboxes, so that the Postal Service can deliver directly to these. And in some cases, they're allowing them to save money, in which they don't have to have a keyed mailbox. They can have this for one source for everything. And then again, you can see some larger compartments there in the oversized. The key piece about the oversized locker is that it is a shared environment. So when packages are delivered there, you might have 10 or 15, sometimes up to 20 different packages in there at one time, and it's all under video surveillance. And so it's unique in its sense that in the other lockers, each person has only one package or one recipient per locker. A little specifications kind of start here on how the different hardware. So we offer indoor and outdoor solutions. Each one is mounted through leveling feet, and then the outdoor solutions we also mounted directly to a pad. So they're 500 pounds. We tack them to walls through anchors. So these are earthquake rated, as well as rated for high winds outdoors. Operating temperatures, you can see, quite a range. For the outdoor solutions, we've definitely invested a lot of time in ensuring that this thing can withstand some pretty harsh conditions, both on the upper and lower end. And then power consumption is pretty nominal. So, the mechanics of these systems don't draw, don't draw a huge amount of power. And, they're supported through a backup battery that's, really only the size of kind of a laptop computer, 2 or 3 laptop computers stacked up together. They're all ran through either Cat6, or they can be connected to Wi-Fi and cellular networks for outdoor installations. So we have quite a bit of configuration options available for the different conditions that a building can throw at us. Also designed with universal access in mind, of course. This is super important for us. So they comply with all ADA requirements, in addition to accessibility controllers that we can have installed when necessary for visually impaired installations as well. So they're meet all the requirements, and it's something that we take very seriously and is very common installation. And then the integration side, as we move into the software. So one of the main places where we connect with different buildings is typically through either a resident or an office portal, or university portal as well. in which those systems are kind of the most up-to-date places for maintaining the recipient's information. So the Luxer One's operating system works very well when we are pulling in the right data and we are communicating to residents or other recipients through email, through text message, and now directly through mobile applications. And we rely upon make sure that our data is always accurate with the most up-to-date information. So these are some of the examples, some of the most common ones within multifamily in which we integrate directly into their platform so that managers and owners don't need to maintain two databases. They just take care of the one that they're most familiar with using and that they rely upon to run their business. For example, Yardi or RealPage. So switching gears here, I want to walk you through a little bit on how the system works. So on the delivery side, we work with every carrier under the sun, any carrier or in the case of office or university settings or retail settings, associates in the store, coworkers, etc. Anybody that's trying to make a delivery. This is just a quick walkthrough of the 5 steps that you would interact with on the iPad for the system. So the first step is the seller inputs an access code. They may have a QR code or they might have a one-time code that they use. And after that, they search for the person that they want to give something to. And this isn't just the use case for packages, although that's what a carrier would interact with. They could also be looking to hand this iPhone in for repair at my corporate campus's IT department, or they could be looking to check out a book from a library or return a book from a library. There's a lot of different cases out there, but the simplest form is within multifamily where UPS driver is searching for to make a package delivery to me, to Nicholas Anderson. He may search for my name, he might search for my unit number, he might just start typing SAN for my last name, and then the fields will auto-populate based upon the database for that building. Once he finds the recipient, we'll scan a picture of the asset, or in this case, the shipping label of the package. So this is our record. Using the camera on the iPad, we would scan a photo of what I'm putting into the locker, and that's my proof of delivery. And it also allows us on the customer service side to see a photo of every label and every package that goes into our lockers. And this is especially critical given there are so many tracking codes now on packages. We opted in for a photo rather than a scan because this might be a FedEx delivery that was made by a USPS, and the recipient might have a different tracking number than what the carrier might scan. So it just eliminates the opportunity for confusion by having a photo of all the tracking barcodes as well as tracking numbers in one place. So after they send that picture and capture the picture, the system prompts them to select a locker size for their asset. And so depending on the size of the box or the laptop or whatever they might have, they would choose a different compartment: small, medium, large, extra large, oversized, sometimes leasing office or desk. If properties don't want to have, a stack of tires, for example, delivered into a locker, they may want to have those go into a package room or just go to the office directly for those one-off occasions. There's a lot of configuration here that's possible. So if I have a laptop, I select a small locker, and after I do that, a locker door opens, one of the available locker doors. I put my item inside, as you can see over there on the right-hand side, and I close the door. And there's a couple of little features here in case there's something goes wrong. Maybe you chose a small, or you chose a small locker. You really needed a medium. You can kind of go back to the start, say it doesn't fit, need to get another one. There's also an opportunity to reopen the door in case you forgot, the carrier forgot to scan the package, for example, with their handheld device. So we built in kind of systems that ensure that that package isn't just gone now. And on the pickup side, so what happens now is that as soon as that package is delivered and that door is shut, a couple of seconds later, the recipient receives a notification. And there's many ways to notify. Most recently, most of our notifications are now moving over to our iOS or Android app, because it's kind of one place to keep all your information. But we still have options to email and SMS notifications that a package has been delivered. If you're using the mobile app, which is the kind of most contactless way to pick up your package, you'll just go down to the locker whenever you're ready, and you'll open up your mobile app. You'll see there on the left, it says FedEx delivered 25 minutes ago. It's in locker number 11, a small. And as you approach the locker, you can click on your phone, open locker door, and through Bluetooth technology, we pop the door open for your package. You receive it and close the door, and you're done. So you don't touch the iPad. You don't have to operate the system at all. Aside from shutting the door with a glove, or if you like, there's really no need to touch anything except for your phone. We also have the option to use the iPad too, so you can pick up through the iPad if you don't have the mobile app, and that's another way that a lot of folks still access the system. But the mobile application is something new for us to control the lockers via Bluetooth technology. So now I'd like to dive a little bit into some of the use cases that we have outside of multifamily, starting specifically first with what we do within the office world. And this is a relatively exciting space for us now, as more and more offices are starting to return via post-COVID, and I shouldn't say post-COVID, I guess, during COVID. And they're looking for ways to ensure that they limit the touch and interactions between employees or departments to keep everybody safe. And so the office use case has always been there for us, but it's definitely fueled a little bit right now by what's happening throughout the country. So in the office space, we differ a little bit on some of the solutions. So in multifamily, the main solution is still managing packages, managing the massive amounts of deliveries that are happening to a building every day, 365 days a year. In the office world, we see a little bit of a different use case, which is pretty exciting. It's all done through the same software and same lockers, same components. We just slightly tweak some of the user interface so that we can accomplish some different needs. So one of the first ones we see very common is what we call an intra-office delivery. This is just an easy way to hand off these pair of earbuds to my coworker. I might not be coming into the office very often now. I might be working from home. They might be working from home, etc. And this is a really clean way that I have a chain of custody, that I took this expensive set of earbuds and I gave them to my colleague through the locker. So I would look for her name, I'd take a photo of these, I put it in a locker, and I'd shut the door. And then she would receive a notification that, hey, Nick just delivered a pair of earbuds. She would see the photo, and she would be able to go down there on her own time and pick up her items. We also use this for packages, of course, too. So in multifamily space, the rules that kind of dictate how carriers perform are different than what they're required to do within an office environment. And that's a special piece, because in multifamily, carriers have an option to use the lockers, deliver everything into each individual compartment, each package, or they have an option to go to every single door within a building if they don't choose to use the lockers. So the cost of not using a locker is very extreme for them. In the office world, they don't have the same requirement. And so most of the time for package management, packages will be delivered to one place. And those team members, whether it be a mail room, a front office, depending on the volume, you may have different requirements. Those folks will use the lockers through the inter-office deliveries to get the packages delivered to their colleagues too. So similar to around how we manage the packages, it's just that typically an employee is making that first delivery. Outbound shipping is another one too. So this is a great place, for some offices do a tremendous amount of outbound shipping. You can easily stage those packages for outbound shipping and deliver them in that same format. We've seen use cases around inventory, spare parts. So again, for IT assets or repair, we've recently launched a few different opportunities within school districts that are using these lockers to manage the repair of laptops, Chromebooks, things like that for remote, not only for their employees, their teachers, but also for their students. And we've seen some amazing uses. One of them, Rochester School District, has to distribute something like 4,000 Chromebooks to their students. And what they do is they fill their lockers with the Chromebooks. And when a student contacts them and says, hey, I need a Chromebook, I can't learn without it, they can just assign a locker, notify the student, and in 1 minute, they're ready to go pick up their Chromebook. So it's no touch. They don't even have to be there physically at the locker, and they're the lockers are 12 gauge steel. They're outdoor, or some of them are indoor installations, so you can't break into them. It's all controlled remotely. So it's a very easy way to run these like IT or repair districts. We have HVAC companies that need to distribute parts to their wholesalers, for example. They may put a locker outside their office, loaded up with different things that have been requested maybe throughout the day. And then their distributors or resellers or subcontractors can receive what they need kind of on their own terms. So a lot of use cases that we're seeing there that are definitely spun out of the need to have a contactless experience. The other one that is pretty exciting too is around temporary storage and what we call bag drop. We have this actually working at our office now, and it's quite nice in an environment where you're sharing desks, not just within co-working, but also other corporate environments that are moving to a model in which no one's having dedicated spots to sit and be at all day, and they can kind of move through. One of the most alarming things about that, of course, is sharing monitors, sharing keyboards, sharing mouses, right? With contactless being such an important top of mind item, ability to have your own laptop, your own keyboard, your own mouse, maybe your own kind of pad of workstation is very important, and storing those things in that kind of environment is really challenging. And so we're seeing a lot of installations now through companies that will allow employees to store their personal items. It's a digitally controlled lock, just like you saw in the photo, and they can keep it there until the next day. So at the end of the day, pack away, come in the next day. We're seeing co-working studios use this to help supplement the kind of lower tier cost that they have for hot desking, as they call it, in which a WeWork, for example, might put this inside for all their hot desk memberships so that they have a place to leave a monitor, for example, or leave the laptop instead of lugging it back and forth to their hot desk each day. Direct carrier delivery, similar to the multifamily world. Of course, in the case where UPS and FedEx, et cetera, will deliver, that's the normal use case. We're seeing a lot of food delivery now too, which is pretty exciting. So instead of, if you live or if you work in a building 30 stories high and your Uber Eats driver arrives, instead of navigating your way down the elevator during busy rush hour for lunch and trying to get to your order in time, a carrier like a Uber Eats driver can deliver directly into the lockers. You might have catering or larger deliveries that need to occur. Instead of disrupting the operations of the office, you can instruct them to the lockers as well. We have this fun one around swag storage. So just a fun way to reward people that are kind of semi-remote, load up things for them on their first day, for example. A great way to receive it, kind of open up the box, get your swag out, welcome new team members onto the force. And then again, around the IT functions and support, which we briefly talked about, great solution for government and school buildings too. So now let's switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little about Luxer One for retail. Similar use cases, but you'll see tweaked in a little different way. We serve both small and medium-sized businesses, as well as some of the largest retailers in the country. What we call through a solution that we call BOPIS, which is buy online and pick up in store. So today we have just over 1,600 retail deployments throughout US and Canada. We're doing, this is a little bit outdated, but we have over 7 million orders running through those lockers. So we're getting quite a bit of experience within this space. It's a really exciting area for us, especially given the struggles that a lot of retailers are having today. As you can imagine, trying to run your business when you're being forced to shut your doors in some states and some regions, a locker is providing a really nice solution to keep your business flowing, keep revenue coming in the door when you're physically not able to allow people inside. So some of the use cases that we have here, again, that BOPIS solution, seamlessly integrate from a checkout experience online directly to a pickup experience in the store. And this is a really fun way for, not so fun, but a financially meaningful way for large and regional retailers to find some economies of scale in how they use their staff. So instead of making people come wait in line at customer service, to receive their item, they can direct them directly to the locker. And of course they can, people can pick up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So generating revenue even when you're not open. So it's very beneficial. Order returns, another big problem that retailers have, right? The return line, especially around the holiday season, can be quite painful. So allowing that return experience online, where you receive kind of a SKU or a receipt to scan at the locker, you can easily place your item in for return. And you as the customer have that proof of mind that, or peace of mind, excuse me, that your item is there, you see the photo that you took, you get a confirmation of it, and so does the customer service rep on the retail side. Repairs, exchanges, geek squads, things like that, to drop off a broken laptop to be repaired, similar to what we would do within an office environment, is made possible for a retailer as well. And then mobile app integration. So this allows us to kind of have time of use for the lockers. So one of the challenges is within the retail world is, obviously a lot more people coming into that store. A lot of them might want to use the lockers, but you don't really have a general sense of when they will arrive. And so this is a way to integrate kind of on my way functionality in which, a customer can notify that they're on their way, and then those items can be put into the locker a little bit closer to their arrival time to make sure that the lockers are being utilized as best as possible. Third-party delivery, so orders from lockers are delivered to customers. That's another great way to, kind of solve that last mile problem for retailers. So store associates can load packages and retail goods into the locker, and then a third-party delivery, maybe it's a Postmates or it's something like Deliv, or any of these third-party companies throughout the country, pick up from the locker, take it to the home for the delivery. Pick ticket lockers, so the different form for those high valued items can be picked up from lockers and stored inside, so that that you don't have super expensive things sitting outside. The endless aisle is kind of this piece around additional shopping and upselling moments on the touch screen. So as you approach the touch screen, you can see you have promotional activities happening there, or other cross-selling ideas based upon what you've purchased, what's inside the locker for you. What we found really in the retail world is somewhat counterintuitive, I think, to what we believed going into this. Feedback that we heard originally is that the pickup experience, getting somebody into the store to pick up their locker from the front desk, the thought was always, hey, get them into the store to pick up and you're going to get a cross-sell opportunity. That happens sometimes, but what we're finding now is get them into the store, have them only take up 5 minutes of their time to pick up their good. Now they have a lot more time for an upsell opportunity, as opposed to waiting in line for 20, 30 minutes, and being frustrated. And when they pick up their item, they just want to get out of there. So it's really, we think, and the retailers have shared with us, has done a great job on increasing revenue opportunities for those that have already purchased online. So switching gears over to schools and universities. So always been part of our solution here. We're seeing a resurgence again around what schools are trying to do, especially when they're kind of pushing people out of campus right now, but still need to get them materials or, like I mentioned, Chromebooks into their hands. So this, similar to how we are working within multifamily space, we're using the same iOS technology here. We're integrating directly in with any student database or management system that they use to control their students' name, phone number, email address, et cetera, for notifications. A lot of excuse me, a lot of universities rely upon third-party providers to manage their packages. So, for example, some universities contract out with UPS stores throughout the country, and those UPS stores are franchisees that need to do a host of other things, not just manage packages, right? But they do print services, of course. They do shipping, everything a UPS store would do, and then return all the packages to the students. And so the big solution here for us is that on outdoor installations, it gives students 24-hour access to pick up their packages, which is good because those stores typically have limited hours. From a savings of time perspective, we see huge time suck for employees of either internal operations or those third-party operations, struggling with the amount of time it takes thousands of students to come pick up their materials. And you can imagine in student housing or on or off campus housing for universities, you can imagine the amount of things that students buy, right? They are buying all their books online for the most part. They're shipping everything to their dorm or to their off-campus housing. And a lot of them are operating under mom and dad's credit card. So the purchases are more frequent maybe than even you might see within a multifamily environment. So time savings is huge, especially when they're running a job that generates revenue for shipping or for printing and other things that they are being taken away from. And on the package pickup side, the lockers are capable of handling thousands of students and even serve many of them at once. So on the bottom right, you can have one iPad, you can have many stations mounted throughout a room. Some of our installations have hundreds of locker compartments and many areas for students to pick up so that you don't have a really long line of students waiting around, picking up, being in close contact together, which of course is not great. Everything is still under 24-hour surveillance. So we put cameras and some students or some universities manage their own system and some we manage for them. So we can provide customer service for them as well. And we, again, sync, the iOS syncs with all of their database as well. So a little snippet on kind of what these things look like from an installation perspective. So relatively easy. We just need to install two kind of 110 duplex outlets above or behind the system and a Cat6 Ethernet jack. And everything else is hosted within the unit itself. So aside from plugging in, we supply our own controller, we supply our own modems, our own hardware, and everything is configured when arrival. We use a variety of different resources for installation. So a lot of our lockers within multifamily especially are sold through our reseller network. And we have operators all over the country, different type of companies. There might be furniture, kind of office furniture or multifamily furniture suppliers. We have data security companies. We have entrepreneurs as well that have worked with us on the dry cleaning side and then moved into selling our hardware in Luxer One. And so a lot of different types of companies. They'll do their own installations. So we kind of drop ship them everything through white glove delivery, place lockers in, and then they install, or we use third-party contractors as well to do installations too in different markets where we may not have a local reseller. All the cameras are installed. We used to use Nest cams. I've actually updated this to a different camera. So those cameras are linked to every transaction so that we tie the timestamp of a camera back to when a carrier approached or a resident picked up, or, so we can problem solve really well there. The lockers are 77 inches high from the floor, and each one can be leveled independently. So, they can be in a variety of different floor plans. We can inset them into alcoves. We can pull them out from the wall. We have done a lot of different configurations. So it's very flexible, given that each tower is modular. And so they bolt together for security, but they can be placed in a variety of ways. In a U, you can put them straight line. You see both configurations here. One is pushed into an alcove, one is sitting against the wall. We see all different types. And you can see over on the left-hand side an additional screen that's placed there for having multiple points for contact for both carriers and for residents or other recipients. Again, all ADA in compliance with ADA and FHA guidance. The quantity that we kind of rule of thumb is that we're placing about one locker, for approximately every 3 or 4 units or suites, if you will. And that's a good rule of thumb around the package volume that's coming in there. And then we trim out the lockers too. So if you need to kind of tie it in seamlessly, you can trim against the locker, against your alcove, for example. You can custom color. We see a lot of clients that are wrapping them. You saw the example from the University of Arizona, brand them, make them look and feel just like the space they're going into. And we're currently now working on other materials too. So different skins across them to give a different feel for material. But all of them right now are being made of 12 gauge steel. And pretty much the impenetrable locks. We've done tried to do a lot of damage to them in the past, and they've withstand a lot of tests. So with that, I will turn it over to questions if anybody has any, and I appreciate your time and attention.
Excellent job, Nick.
Thank you.
We do have a question here. It says, we are a contract door and hardware distributor for Assa Abloy. We are involved with new multiple housing and apartment building projects. Are we able to purchase products directly as a distributor? Is the product sold directly to property owners or contractors? We are, we may be able to purchase for upcoming events. They're wondering how to purchase them, basically.
Yeah, great question. And we do allow, so from a sales cycle, we sell direct. We also sell through distributors. And if you're interested in becoming a distributor, we'd absolutely love to talk to you. You can email me directly right here, and I can give you the information on that. We do sell in multiple stages of a development too. So, all of our sales come with 2 transactions. One is a hardware sale, and the other is a software and support sale. And those are a longer term, of course, anywhere from 12 to 60 months, which provides the customer support, the software licensing to run the iPad and iOS devices. And sometimes we split those in half. So if you're in the contractor space or even in the architect space, you may want, the development space, you may want to buy those as part of your full scope within your construction project. And you might want, whoever's going to be operating the building to be purchasing the software. So we see lots of opportunities in which we split those 2 transactions in half. And you purchase and you can resell, or we can sell directly to you as a distributor.
Okay, we do have another question. Is the product available for exports?
So we export to Canada right now, but that's the only place right now. There's work to be done to go to South America and Mexico. I know we're working on that at the moment with Assa. There's definitely a lot of requirements that are needed to be accomplished there. Our main challenge here is around how to provide the support in those different countries. So at the moment, we don't have, but on one-off basis, I'd love to learn more about what the need is. So I'd also welcome the email and happy to talk more through it.
And that brings us to the rest of our, wait, actually another question just popped up.
I see it here. Pricing to a distributor be different than when we sold to a contractor or building owner. Yes. So the reseller model is one in which you are purchasing the lockers at a deep discount at a wholesale price and then reselling to a contractor or building owner. So you're making up that margin between the two prices.
Okay. And at this point, that brings us to the end of the questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the time. Look forward to hearing from anyone who has any additional questions. And thanks, Russell, again for the invitation here.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.